Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as BunniPhish on Ravelry, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Today is February 23rd. It's a Sunday. This is episode 7. How was your week? Mine was less than stellar. My sister brought home some sort of bug. On Tuesday, she started feeling really sick. On Thursday, I started feeling awful. I felt so awful that I went to work at the school. And then I sat in the office for a minute. I was like, nope, we're all going home. I cannot come back up here. I can't pick them up in 2 hours. I need to pick them up now. And I felt awful because I normally don't take my children out of school, but I felt so not good. Not I felt nauseous, but I almost never actually throw up. So, and I had a migraine. It was no good. No good. I got the much lesser version than my sister. So at least there's that. But yeah, that wasn't very good. And this week, I don't know. I felt kind of blah. I think I recall February, or maybe it was March last year. I also had kind of a blah month. I think it's just the going into spring because we get a fair amount of storms, which gives me migraines, and it looks like it should be nice outside. Like I should be able to go for a walk, but it's actually 10 degrees out. So, yeah, I think that's what's going on. In the Ravelry group slash social media thing, the For the Love of Spinning Spin Along is continuing on through the end of the month, and I will be doing another craft along that's Instagram based starting in March. It's going to be the Meh March craft along. Put the hashtag at the bottom of the screen, and there is a video up right before this one talking about what the idea of that is. I will probably have a prize just because prizes are fun, but it's really loosey-goosey. The idea is to work on a project that you have set aside for whatever reason, and it's like your meh project. I'm going to be working on one of 2 blankets that I have to put together. That's going to be my meh March. Finished objects. I did a few more Joanne samples, 2 blocks, I think, and some hair scrunchies. And the hair scrunchies are made out of velvet yarn. Well, on Monday, I had a class, and it was a learned crochet class. So I took a washcloth and hair scrunchies to work on because I figured they're small, they're easy to set down, pick up, continue working on as I'm teaching my student how to crochet. Well, class did not go the way I had planned it because the student didn't actually want a learned crochet class. It was I was sitting in the classroom and this lady walked in and I was like, "Oh, are you student name?" And then right behind her, a young girl walked in. I said, "Oh, are you name here?" She wasn't little. She was probably 11, 12. But it was a learn to crochet class for adults. So my mindset was on teaching an adult, fine. My student already knows how to crochet. She wanted to learn how to make amigurumi. That's a totally different class. That's actually what I should have made them do is sign up for a one-on-one class, because I had to on the spot come up with an idea for what to work on because she didn't have any ideas. She had a student project, which at their school is to do a passion project. So find something that you're passionate about and learn how to do it. She likes making things. She decided she wanted to learn how to make amigurumi. She taught herself how to crochet. She needed help figuring out increases, decreases, working in the round. This is a totally different class than what I'm teaching. But I had already driven out there. And I had this really quick argument in my head. Do I send her home and tell her she has to sign up for a specific type of class and she'll probably just not come back and I won't get paid? Or do I that's excessive. Or teach the class that at the much reduced rate from what it would be if I sent them home, but actually get paid for the student. So I decided to just teach the class, even though it was not what I was supposed to be teaching, but I did. So the mom came back later and was asking me all sorts of questions about the catalog, which was frustrating because the open house had been the day before, where someone's there to tell you about all the classes. And she was like, well, what's the difference between the class she's taking now? And I see that there's a Learn to Crochet for Kids. And I was like, well, the class that she's taking right now is actually a one-on-one session and you should be paying X amount of money for it. But since you're already here, I'm going to let you do it this time. Next time, you're going to have a schedule a one-on-one session. I was super polite about it, but on the inside, I was like, this is ridiculous. So, whatever. It was fine. She wanted to make amigurumi, so we made a chick. This is The Hatching Chick by Katie Marchese, and there's actually an egg pattern with it as well that the chick goes into. I did not go that far because I just needed to I went on Ravelry really quickly, looked for a toy pattern that was free that I thought we could get most of the way through in the 2.5 hour class time, which, once everything was explained was more like 2 hours of class time. And toys don't take a super long time, but they do take time. And I wanted to have a pattern because this is going to sound really like vain or whatever. I'm a really good teacher. So even though it wasn't a class that, even though it wasn't the class that they had signed up for, I wanted to give them a good class. So I wanted something that had increasing, decreasing, sewing on parts, and how to read a pattern. So we made this chick, and I used the velvet yarn from the hair scrunchies. Modifications to the pattern, it calls for safety eyes. I also don't know, mine is slightly bigger because my yarn is bigger. I don't remember what hook I was using. I think probably a size H hook. I think that's what the scrunchies called for. The velvet yarn is definitely more of it's thicker than worsted, so a bulky, but not a super bulky. This yarn right here is Red Heart. I held it double, Red Heart Super Saver. I don't know the colorway, but that's what I used to make the beak and feet. The eyes I did when I got home, my student had safety eyes in her little kit that she brought. She didn't bring any yarn, she didn't bring any stuffing, but she brought some safety eyes. Okay. It's fine because Learn to Crochet classes, I provide yarn, but whatever, it's fine. And I had some extra yarn in my car, so I had different colors, which is not something that I offer in Learn to Crochet. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. But I ran out to my car and found this Red Heart Super Saver for beak and feet, and did the eyes when I got home because I didn't have any black, and I just sewed those on. My intent is to give this to the teacher who I am making booties for. I should probably get on making those booties now. She wants gray booties. I think I'm going to make her a pair out of this velvet yarn, mostly to use it up because I don't have a use for the velvet yarn. I have it because I was making samples for Joanne. So yeah, it's really soft and snuggly and everything's super secure on here. So no matter how much tugging a small human does. It's really secure. I'm really good at making sure things are secure. It was kind of a fun class to teach because I have over time picked up a lot of tips and tricks for making toys, and I don't usually get to share them. Like how to make decreases that are pretty invisible, and how to increase, an easy trick for remembering how to increase, and how to sew on things fairly seamlessly. Ooh, this one's not as good as this one, but still not terrible. Yeah, it was fun. It was just not what I expected and not what they paid for. And again, this week I had a class that there was no communication that was going to run, so I was late to a class, which you know I hate. But it was with a student who I had just taught to crochet 2 or 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago? No, the first week of February. So however long ago that was. I taught her how to crochet. She signed up for a block class, and she intends on signing up for the block class every month. So for the next several months at least, I know that that class is going to run. Anyway, I also finished a dishcloth. This is the one that I took to the class on Monday. This is cotton from Lion Brand. I don't exactly remember what it's called. It has been in my stash forever. I made a long time ago, back when I lived in Kentucky, I made, and not in my old house, in the townhouse I lived in before that, when Mara was a year to 2 years old. I made a set of a face scrubby, a bath proof, and I think a dishcloth for bachelorette party gifts. Sort of, we had a spa day idea for my friend's bachelorette party. So I made those, and this is the leftovers from that yarn. So I made a dishcloth, and yesterday, the day before, I started a second one. They are not the same size because I don't care that much. I chain 25 to 30 and then double crochet in them until they are double crochet in the back loop until they are about square, and then cut them off. Whatever's left over from this ball is going to go into a scrappy washcloth that I started previously to use up scraps that is sitting behind me on my table, not being worked on. And then I have one other thing that I'm considering a finished object, but isn't technically finished right now, but will be before the end of today. So, and I want to send them out in the post. So last week I had this sock up to this point. So I had to do the almost just a little bit more toward the heel, and the cuff. These are shorty socks for a pen pal of mine. She said she likes black and white and red, but not pink. So I used black and white and red with the Scraposaurus socks pattern, and I made it a shorty. She wears size 5.5 to 6, so they're really short socks. And I have the second sock nearly finished. I have one round left of stockinette before I do the cuff, which is 5 rounds of ribbing and then a sewn bind off. I don't remember what it's called, which makes it really stretchy so that she can get her foot in, but also leaves the top edge looking really crisp and it doesn't flare out. It's my favorite bind off for toe up socks, so I pretty much always do 1x1 rib so that I can do this sew and bind off, which is basically you do a setup round before you bind off to put all of the, you knit all the knit stitches onto one needle, you purl the purl stitches onto another needle, and then the final ending is you Kitchener those stitches together. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is now 5.5 rounds plus a Kitchener from finished. So these are finished. The yarns that I used for this sock is Premier Serenity sock in black and white, and then an unknown red mini skein from my mini skein stash. And fun fact, yesterday I was cleaning my room, and the red that I had originally intended to use in this sock, I found that scrap. It was under my bedside table. Yeah, okay, it's fine. These will be fine. Hopefully my pen pal will like them, so I want to get them out probably tomorrow. I'll head to the post office and send out that package. Maybe today. I have to go pick up my kids. Do I think that the post office kiosk, self-serve kiosk, is open today? I don't know. Maybe. So works in progress. I have a lot, not a lot. I have one new thing, which I'm going to show you, and then everything else I'm kind of, so it's almost the end of the month. There's about a week left, a little less than a week left. I don't think that I'm going to finish all of my projects that I wanted to finish this month. And it's normal for me to have like one project roll over, but I think there's going to be multiple projects rolling over this month. I guess it's not too bad. I really have 3 going that I wanted to finish by the end of the month that I don't know if they'll get there. This is not one of them. This is the second block in the chain reaction afghan. I'm skipping the first one because I don't, so here's where I'm at with the first one. I tried doing it per the pattern, didn't like it. I tried doing it a different way, I didn't like it. So then last week I said I was just going to use a different pattern that has a similar look and use that. But I really like the look of the pattern, the square as the pattern is written. So I think I'm going to try another way to make the square more like the way that the square is written. So it'll look more as the square is written. See if I like it. I'm going to try it one more time. I'll give you an update whenever that happens. Probably next week. No, probably not next week, is what I meant to say, because this square, I don't know how long it's going to take me. I started it on Monday, I think. I think I brought it to the class and started it there. Started it Monday night. It took me a couple tries to find my correct beginning chain number, because so this square actually tells you to do a foundationless double crochet stitch, and I didn't like the way that mine was turning out. The edge looked really messy, and I know it doesn't matter because it would be seamed in with other squares, so you probably wouldn't even see the edge, but I didn't like it, so I chained. But this is a cabled pattern. It's not like a cable-y cable pattern. I have made cable-y cables in crochet, but this is in knitting it would be the equivalent of a left twist. So it takes some time to make this pattern because it has it's front post, back post, and twisting those stitches. Not everything. You're just twisting the front post stitches. So it's a reversible square, which is really cool. But it takes time. I think I'm at about 7 inches. It needs to be a 12-inch square. I'm using some worsted weight from my stash. I don't know what it is exactly. If I had to guess, I would say probably a Lion Brand Wool Ease tweed, but I'm not positive. It looks like a Wool Ease skein, the way that it's wrapped, like the size of it, but I don't know for sure. And I'm liking this. This is pretty good. I'm liking this way better than I liked the first square. So Chain Reaction Afghan project is a go. Next up, I have this sock, which you can't actually see because it's all balled up in itself. I will show you that I only have a pattern repeats worth of, or not a, yeah, a pattern repeat, a color repeats worth of yarn left. So this is super close to the tube being finished. So I think that this will be finished next week because after the tube is finished, so here's the tube. After the tube is finished, so once I get to the very end of this yarn, I will knit the toe and then I will split the tube in half. I'm not really concerned about making sure that I end at a color repeat for this. Just going to make it as long as I can and split the tube in half. So right now that would be about here. But we'll actually, so if I split it right now, it would be at the end of a color repeat. So it's going to be about halfway through the color repeat when I split it. So then I'll have 2 socks. I will have the toe on one, I'll have the cuff on the other. I will knit the toe down from this sock. I will add a cuff up here. You could knit the cuff up. I am actually going to knit the second cuff and then graft it. That's how the pattern's written. That's the way that I like it. And then I will cut in an afterthought heel and I will embroider little cat eyes on it. These are going to be for my niece for Christmas. The pattern that I'm using is Unicorn Tube Sock, patterned by me. I've made the 56 stitch sock previously. This is the 60 stitch sock. Modifications is using, I'm using the 72 stitch socks ear pattern because my niece wanted bigger ears for her cat than the unicorn had proportionally. So yeah, this should be finished by next week. The other 2 projects, probably not. It's okay. I'm fine. I just wanted them to be finished this month, but it's okay if things roll over. So this is the one that I have less to say about. That was my chapstick falling out of my bag because I have chapstick in all of my bags because I'm a chapstick junkie. So out of, oh, I have the leg warmer in a different bag because this bag is really good for porting things around and I didn't want to have the leg warmer in it to add extra weight. Okay, so this is the first Baby Diamond Legs by Lisa K. Ross. It's finished. And here's the second one. The pattern is lovely. I think, one cuff is longer than the other. What am I going to do about that? How it's only longer by like 2 rounds. Okay. Well, I guess So if these were for me, I would just leave it because I don't care. But they're not for me. They're a gift. So I guess I'm going to rip back to about here and then work down the diamonds. I'm going to do that right after I stop podcasting so I can get all the stitches on so that it can be in timeout for today while I go pick up my kids so that I can work on it super diligently for the rest of the week and maybe finish these leg warmers. That's so frustrating. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. This is just going to be a week for ripping, apparently. I don't want to talk about those now. The yarn is Knit Picks Stroll Glimmer in Blush. Also, I think that I don't know if I said this before I realized I had made a mistake. I think the reason that I'm not working on those socks is because I don't like the yarn. Not the yarn. I don't like the color. The yarn is fine. The Stroll Glimmer, it's fine. It feels like Stroll. It's not super crunchy or anything. I don't like pink. And I especially don't like baby pink. So it's fine, but I don't like working on it. It doesn't like, I don't hate working on it. It just doesn't like bring me a lot of joy to work on that color. The other problem child project is my cog in the machine. And it's not its fault that it's a problem child. So let me show you my progress. I split it on needles so that I could show you a little bit better the progress. Last week I was here and my goal was to get to the end of this third section. And I made pretty good progress, but then I ran out of yarn. I have this much left. And I am about maybe just, I think the next row I would do would be the halfway point for the third repeat of the chart, and it's 3 repeats long. So I'll show you the cable because that is what has the 3 repeats. So I am here. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Do I want to pick up another skein of this Dirty Martini colorway to do half a repeat? And then I wasn't planning on doing the edging in the Dirty Martini colorway, so I could pick it up, do half the repeat, and then do the edging in Dirty Martini, but I don't think that I will wear a shawl that has that much yellow in it. I know it looks like the sweater has a lot of yellow, but it goes to green. So I don't know if I'll wear it if it has that much yellow. My original plan was to do the edging in a black, a tonal black that's darker than this tonal gray. And I think I still want to do that. So my other option, or another option, there are several options. Another option is I could pick up that black and finish out this repeat in the black and then do the border. I don't like that option because then it looks obvious that it's a mistake, right? So I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to buy Dirty Martini just to do half a repeat because then I'll have a bunch of it left over. So the option that I think I'm going to take is I think that I'm just going to take out the rows of this repeat. So it's like 6 rows, take them out, and then just move on to the next section. There's transition rows. So I think I'm going to do that and then pick up the black for the edging, probably not tomorrow because my local yarn shop is not far away. It's just not on the way to anything. So I'd have to make a special trip, but I might pick up that yarn and start on the border. Because, okay, so it's on this other needle. So this is how it would sit on my back. It's got this nice little thing that helps it stay on your shoulders when it's wrapped around. Not when it's scrunched up on needles though. And it is about halfway down my torso. It's definitely under my bra line by an inch, 2 inches. So if I take out that half an inch, it will still be under my bra line. And then I have the edging, which adds several inches. So I think that will be long enough, even if I make this just 2 repeats instead of 3. That's what I'm leaning toward, but I don't know. We shall see next week what I show you. So I don't know if this is getting finished. I'm a little bit in analysis paralysis right now. I'm leaning towards taking back the work and having it just be 2 repeats instead of 3. Because I can use that leftover yarn in my scrappy projects, but I don't want to buy a 100-gram skein and then have, I don't know, 75 grams or something left over in this colorway that I'm not going to wear a hat out of this. I wouldn't wear fingerless mitts out of this. I don't think that this color looks super nice next to my skin. So I wouldn't really use it. And there's no nylon content in it, I don't think. It is, I switched out bags again because it was getting big, so it needed to go in to my biggest bag. Yeah, it's 100% superwash merino, so I wouldn't make sport weight socks out of it. So yeah, I think I'm going to tank back on this one too, which is fine. It'll be okay. So now looking at the progress that I have to make, I still think that I'm not going to finish these 2 projects, the cog in the machine and the baby diamond legs this month. They'll probably both be really close. I'll probably finish them both within the first week of the month. I am going to try to finish both of them by the end of the month. I just don't know that it's going to happen, but we'll see next week. I've also been working on my Karen spin. So this is the second spindle. The progress is not as impressive as it was last week because I did not spin definitely 2 days this week, maybe 3 days this week because I was sick. So on Thursday, I came home early. I went to sleep immediately. I took a 2-hour nap, got up, did not even enforce my children doing their homework or their chores. I came upstairs and was miserable with my sister who had called into work. No, she had gone into work, threw up multiple times on her way to work, was sent home. So then we were miserable together on Thursday evening. We watched some show or other, or a movie. Oh, we watched 10 Things I Hate About You. And we're just miserable and didn't do much. And then on Friday, I did not go to work. I cannot remember the last time that I called into work. I mean, okay, let's be realistic. I call into work with fair frequency when I have classes that I don't know that I'm supposed to be teaching. So my Thursday class that I didn't know I was supposed to be teaching, I sent an email into work as soon as I got called in. to teach the class. And then I ended up going to work because my student produced the whole project in an hour. So I was like 5 minutes late to work at the school. So I went in. On Friday, I just didn't go in. And yeah, I don't not go in. Like, not going to my school job to do a teaching job. Instead, the school already knew when I started working there that my teaching would take precedent. So if I had a class, I would go teach that instead, and that was fine. But to just not go to anything, it was very weird, but kind of nice. And now my kids are with their dad in Ohio, so I have to go pick them up today. So yesterday I did some cleaning and a little bit of crafting. A lot of my crafting progress today is from yesterday. It was just not a great crafting week. It was a pretty decent reading week though. I finished Forever on Playaway, and I've already turned it into the library, so I must have finished it on Friday. I started the Scarlet Letter after I finished Forever, and this has been on my to be read list since sometime in high school. My best friend in high school bought it for me for Christmas one year because that's what I asked for. And I just hadn't read it because I'm not good at reading the classics, but I don't mind them on audio. So I saw that this was a playaway in the young adult section, so I picked it up and I listened to it. And the Scarlet Letter, I'll give you a brief synopsis and then I'm going to give you a spoiler. So brief synopsis, there's a young woman who is married and her husband is believed to have been lost at sea, and he's been gone for I think 2 years, and then she has a baby. So it's clearly not his. And she won't tell anybody who the father is. And we meet her at the beginning coming out of jail with like a 4-month-old child wearing a scarlet letter on her chest. So now here come the spoily bits. If you don't want to hear about the Scarlet Letter, then we'll just say bye now because I'm just going to be talking about books and it's not super important that you stay around for them. But here's the spoily bits. So the father is the minister of the parish, one of the junior minister or something, who becomes like the actual minister or something. I don't know. I was listening to what they were saying, but apparently not very well, and I can't do the setup ribbing for that. Well, I am talking to you, so I will pick up this project instead because this is just stockinette. So yeah, it's the pastor, and so Hester Prynne, the main character, refuses to tell who the father is. Her husband is not lost at sea. He actually comes back to town on the day that she is being publicly shamed, and he just takes a different name and doesn't tell anybody who he is, but basically makes the priest sicker, like figures out that that's who the priest, not a priest, it's not Catholic, minister, I think, figures out it's him, makes him sick, and then, so this is the part that makes me really grumpy. I get it that this was written a long time ago, but this is why I can't read classic books, because patriarchy pisses me off. So at the very end, the minister he's decided he's going to tell the town that he's the father because he's dying, because he's going to die soon anyway. So he is going to repent so that his conscience can be clear when he dies. And then he and Hester have a conversation where he tells her he's going to come clean to everybody. And he's like, but I need you to be strong. I need you to help me do this. After she's been living for 7 years with this scarlet letter on her name and all of the hardship that has been given to her by being basically ostracized by the village. She has no prospects. She can't go anywhere because she doesn't have the means to go anywhere. So she and her daughter live on the outskirts of town. She spends all of her time volunteering to help the sick and those poorer than her. And she's a seamstress of skill, so people still hire her to do that. But like, they buy her stuff, but they still shun her. And then he's like, I need you to be strong for me. Are you are you kidding right now? Are you seriously? I feel like swearing, but I don't. I try not to swear on my podcast because I know that some people watch with their kids. But expletive right here made me very angry. Okay, so what else have I been reading? I finished the book of Hygge. I finished the Hygge Holiday. Both of those got returned to the library 2 days late because I just couldn't get my act together and read physical books until I was sick and didn't do anything. And then I read those books. This doesn't even really count. I read pages 1 and 2 of this book last night. It's Feast of Souls by C.S. Friedman. It's book 1 of a trilogy. I picked it up on the recommendation of a pen pal. So I can't really even count it as started, but I kind of started it, so I'm counting it. In my car, I finished listening to Tales from Dreamsong or whatever it is by George R.R. Martin. I finished that, and then did I bring? No. And then I started another audiobook. I had 2 in my backpack. I had The Queen of Nothing, which is by Holly Black, which is what I really wanted to listen to. And then I had a nonfiction book. And I finished the audiobook while driving. So I reached into my bag and grabbed the next book, like the first book that I could find, without looking because I was driving. And it was not The Queen of Nothing. It is a book called The Nature Principle, I think. And it's a nonfiction book about the importance of unplugging from screens and taking time in nature, which is something I super agree with. My kids found it really interesting. Well, not so much my daughter, but my son really enjoyed listening to it. So I think that I'm going to finish the current disc that I'm listening to on my drive there. I'm going to finish it while I'm driving, and then I'm going to start The Queen of Nothing while I'm driving and listen to that until I pick up my kids, and then pop in the nonfiction book for our listening for the drive home. That is my thought. That is my plan for this week. I really like the audiobook that I'm listening to right now, but I also really want to be listening to The Queen of Nothing. I have plans to start in the next couple days a nonfiction book called Beyond Beautiful and a playaway called Star World. I'm really, really liking the playaways right now. I'm going to have to go get more. I think that I have Star World and then The Wizard of Oz on playaway. So yeah, a library trip this week is most likely going to happen. It was going to happen on Thursday while Mara was at tutoring, but then I brought the kids home early from school, so that didn't happen. All right, I am going to go finish this sock right here because I'm on the ribbing right now, and I will see you all in a week. Bye! Do you need help? You need your blanket? You do? Do you need it? Do you need it?